Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. If you're new to this channel, I've been discussing what it's like to live with my arrhythmias that I have, whether it's SVT or the newly discovered Afib that I'm actually having. So today's video is going to kind of take off where the last one was. If you've watched the previous videos, you'll notice that it was a long time ago, like a few months ago was the last video I made, and now it's winter. It's cold. So I found a little spot behind the barn here to set up out of the wind, and the sun's hitting, so it's really warm. So it's a good spot to talk. And I had actually made a little list here of some of the questions people had in the last videos that I made that I said I would address. So the first question is, somebody asked to give an update with my new doctor, which is really what this video is going to be about, so I'm going to wait to address that till at the end. Somebody asked me, does your heart rate bounce around during episodes? So that'd be during my SVT episodes if my heart rate bounces around. And the answer would be yes, it does, which, come to find out, is Afib. So the doctors told me that they thought the SVT that I was having was also triggering Afib. So when they went in and ablated the extra pathway for SVT, they thought it would get rid of the Afib, and it didn't. So I still have Afib, and I have a lot to cover. I've actually been through 2 ablation procedures in the last year. The last procedure, they actually ablated. The first time they did not. If you saw my previous videos, you would know they didn't ablate, but they did this last time, and I will cover that at some point, but that will have to be probably another video, or else this one will be really long. So back to the question. Yes, my heart rate does bounce around. It would take off and be a sustained 200 beats per minute for, I don't know, an hour or something, but there would be spells in between where it would go into Afib, and all of a sudden it would get out of rhythm and just get real erratic, and then it would go back into SVT, and it would do that multiple times throughout. The longest SVT episode I had was probably an hour and a half, thankfully, but that was a sustained 215 beats per minute, just a lunch is what it was. So that's pretty fast, pretty uncomfortable. It was not any fun. And yeah, so yes, I apparently do have Afib. So if that's happening to you, that may be something you want to ask about or check into or catch on a monitor, because that's how they caught it with me. They said I'm also having Afib, which I have every single day since, that's just what I'm having. They say I have PVCs, which cause the Afib, but I have those every day. It's not as bad as the SVT. We're figuring that out as we go. Hopefully we'll get that under control. I'm taking some supplements, magnesium and vitamin D, and it seems to be helping, but I'm still having them, but I've only been taking those for a couple weeks. So another question, name the device that I carry. I hit on this in a previous video a little bit, but it's a Cardia Mobile 6L. It's a 6-lead EKG that I would carry with me to catch a lot of these episodes. It's FDA certified. It catches like Afib, SVT, bradycardia, tachycardia, and normal sinus rhythm. It does other stuff too, but that's the main points of it. It's been an amazing device. It's actually what has helped me the most. A lot of my doctors have looked at those EKG strips that I got from that little device. So if you need something, and you're needing something to purchase that's not overly expensive, check into that device, and it could really help you out. It really helped me. The doctors seem to like it. The good doctors do anyways. They were pretty impressed with what I brought them. So check into that device. It's easy to use. The only problem is if you have short bursts like I do, like short bursts of Afib, it's really hard to catch because you can't get it out, get set up, and catch the Afib in time. It'll be over, and that's really annoying, but it did catch the long spells of SVT, which was the main thing I was going after. Like I said, I'm still having problems. I'm still trying to get those figured out. It's only been 2 or 3 months since my ablation procedure, and I haven't had any long spells of SVT. There's been a couple short ones, but as of now, I'm hoping we got that part at least fixed, but time will tell. And like I said, I'll hit on it some more in another video in the future. So that's pretty much the main questions. I answered a lot of them just through comments, and it seemed to be sufficient. So basically, on the last video I left off, I had talked about my negative experience with an electrophysiologist, and let me tell you, he was terrible. It was a very negative experience. I hope nobody has to go through that. But this new guy is actually awesome. I knew right away he was just way better. He listened. He took his time in the not the waiting room, but the office. And it actually took a while sitting in the waiting room, and I was wondering, like, why is this taking so long? Like, we sat in the waiting room for an hour, and then we got in his office and we waited there forever. And I was like, man, I don't know, this is just taking forever. But then once he got into the doctor's office and was talking to us, I realized that he just likes to take his time with all his patients, and that he was probably just in the other room, like taking his time, talking with the guy, getting to know him, and he was super friendly. So I actually didn't even mind the wait, because he was just really took his time. He asked lots of questions. He wanted to know my opinions. He asked my wife's opinions. He was just super friendly and way better than the first guy. So if you need to know my experience with the first guy, watch the previous video, because he was terrible. He was rude and mean, and he accused me of, I don't know, crying wolf, I guess, even though I had all these EKGs. So he wasn't nice, but this guy was awesome. I showed him all of the results. Sorry, I gotta switch arms. My arm's getting tired. All the results from the previous tests I had, and he wasn't sure why the previous doctor didn't ablate during my first procedure, because he did find an issue, and he should have ablated what he found. So this guy said, well, we're going to go back in, try to perform another ablation procedure, and I'm going to ablate. Basically, he said, I know you have this issue. You have AVNRT, which is like a split, I guess, in the pathway there. And he's just going to cut off one of those pathways so that it doesn't keep recirculating and causing SVT. So that's exactly what he did. He went in, he ablated. The procedure went well, but that's a whole nother story in itself, because I had to be awake the second time. The first time I did not. Being awake was not any fun, and I could go over that in more detail, but it was kind of miserable. But basically, it went well. He ablated. It's taken a good month and a half, probably, before my heart rhythm started to getting back to normal. It took a long time. My heart, I guess, they said was probably really inflamed. It's like harder on young people, they said, because your immune system like fights it really hard, the swelling. So it's like really hard for your heart to get rid of that swelling or something. And so it took a long time, but I'm starting to see improvements. The Afib's still there, but it's looking up a little bit, so that's good at least. And yeah, this doctor was awesome. He listened good. His nurse practitioner, which we just went back and saw after the ablation, she was super friendly, super nice, listened to everything I had to say. She actually had me start a medication, but it didn't seem to really do anything for the Afib, because I was still having it. And she said I would know like within a couple days if it was going to help, and it didn't. It was a calcium channel blocker. I can't remember which one, but it didn't seem to help. So I switched to the magnesium and started that at that time, and that was just a couple weeks ago. So we'll see how that works. It seems like it's helping, so we'll go from there on that. Like I said, I've had a lot of questions. I tried to hit some of them. If you have more, please let me know. I'm gonna make more videos, obviously, hopefully more frequently now. I just quit my job and started my own business, so maybe I'll have a little more time to just kind of do these sorts of things. Let me know what you want to hear. Let me know if you want to know how the procedure went, like my experience. I'd like to talk on that more. Yeah, just let me know what you think. This video may be a little different. I don't know if I'm going to try to do some editing or what, but usually it's just me talking with the camera. And yeah, so let me know, guys. Thanks.